Today I wanted to take a drive to Carter County in eastern Tennessee and check out a really cool town called Elizabethton. And there's actually a number of cool things happening in Elizabethton that I thought I'd show in this video, the main one being the big classic car show. There's actually quite a few of them that happen throughout the year in Elizabethton, but the one at the 4th of July celebration is going to be most likely the biggest. There's going to be certainly over 100 vehicles of pretty much almost all makes and models. You got some rare stuff, you got some classic stuff, cars and trucks from the 50s and 60s. You've got some newer cars as well. If you like any type of automobile, there's probably something here you're going to like. So I'm going to show you as many of them as possible in this video, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really cool. We're also going to check out a couple of the historic things in Elizabethton, namely the covered bridge from the 1880s that spans the beautiful river that runs through the downtown area of Elizabethton. On the other side of that river, from where the classic car show is going to be, in the main street of the historic downtown, on the other side of the river from that is going to be a live show from a band called Spank the 80s, more simply known as Spank. Because they're a cover band, although a very good one, I'm not able to show any of their performance on YouTube because of copyright issues, which is kind of a shame, but I've been told they're very good, and I will put a link to them in the description. I think they tour certainly a good portion of the United States, so if they're in your area, you might be interested in checking them out. I think they're pretty cool. And finally, there's going to be the fireworks show after the performance. And what's really cool is you're sitting on the grass listening to the music, and then you just turn your chair around, and over one of the bridges, they're going to be launching some fireworks. There's actually two bridges that cross the river. One is for modern car traffic, and that bridge is going to be closed down, gated off, so that only the fireworks people are on it, and they're going to be launching off some fireworks. So it's going to be really cool. I'm going to show you a little bit of that at the end of the video. But first, let's go drive to Carter County and Elizabethton. Alright. So this here is something I could explore later at a future time, the Sycamore Shoals Historic State Park. It's a really, really cool area, and there's, I think, either 7 or 9 acres of just beautiful land here. This here is the visitor center right now, which is, you know, a modern building, but they do have some antique and some recreations of other antique buildings from the 1770s. In the 1770s, actually, I believe in specifically 1770, Daniel Boone purchased millions of acres of land here in eastern Tennessee, and this is part of that land. And it was called the Watauga Purchase, I believe. Some of the earliest settlements here in Tennessee were on the Watauga Old Fields, which were called Old Fields because, well, they looked like old fields that were once being farmed and then were no longer being farmed for many years. So the settlers of the region looked at these fields and said, these look like old farm fields, so they called them the Watauga Old Fields, Watauga being named after the watershed and the river that runs nearby, I believe. So at a future date, I could come back and check this out as well if you really wanted me to. Again, there's about 7 to 9 acres here of beautiful land and historic structures. They do all kinds of really cool historical reenactments here as well, which are kind of neat too. So we could come back and check some of those out. But as you can see, this is a beautiful area. Absolutely gorgeous. So here we've found the historic section downtown area of Elizabethton. Now Elizabethton is not just a historic town, they have many of the modern normal amenities of a standard town, but this here is the most interesting part in my opinion, the historic area. Now compared to Jonesboro, the other eastern Tennessee town I've reviewed so far, Elizabethton is a bit more of a rustic kind of a feel, but it still is really, really neat. You don't have some of the, you know, perfectly, impeccably restored buildings that you saw in downtown Jonesboro, but still nonetheless the buildings here are really, really cool. You've got I mean, now it's a furniture plaza, but it looks like it once was something much different. It says Cress up on the top of the building. Very, very interesting. Got a few antique malls in here. Well, I think we'll go in and check out at least one of them. Those are typically pretty fun to go look at. We've got some more historic buildings up here on the left. It just kind of has, I mean, a really cool old style look to it. I love the look of these old American historic downtowns, and this one I think looks very, very cool as well. The nice wide street is an added benefit too. Some of these small towns have really narrow streets. This one definitely does not. Now down here at the end, past the obelisk, or at least near the obelisk at the end of the street, is going to be the covered bridge, which for me is one of the main things that I've come here to take a look at. It's surrounded by a beautiful park with a little stream running through it, and we'll go check that out soon here in a bit. But we can take a look here at some of the other cool historic buildings here. Some of them I think have been a little bit modified, like the Carter County Bank doesn't quite look super antique, but some of them over here on the right definitely do. Definitely. I love how in the up ahead we've got the beautiful tree-covered hill, such a typical East Tennessee thing. And coming up here, we're coming up to the stream that is covered by, or the covered bridge goes over. It's not covered by the bridge, but right here we can see the covered bridge as well as the beautiful stream. So we just pulled up to the entrance of the covered bridge here, and this is the exterior of the bridge. It's very iconic. When you enter Elizabethton on the freeway, when you see the sign that says "Welcome to Elizabethton," it has an image of this covered bridge on their sign. So it's really an icon of this town, and I thought I would show you this and the beautiful river. I called it a stream earlier, but it's really a river that runs underneath of the bridge. So we can take a look at all of this here. And of course, we will walk under the bridge as well. So let's go do that right about now. I will show you a placard first. I'll just kind of put it up on screen, and if you want, you can pause the video and read all of the information. But here it is. The river is called the Doe River, and this bridge was built in 1882 at the cost of only $3,000. And there's all the credits for the people who chose the site and the committee and the contractor and all that. But let's go to the bridge, and you can see here, This is the entrance. It's very cool. You can stand here and kind of look out over the river. I see some ducks we'll go down and take a look at later, I think. But let's walk into the covered bridge. So this here is what it looks like. It's mostly a wooden construction on the floor. I believe once they would have had vehicles, buggies that could cross it, but now cars are not allowed, but people are. So we can take a look here at the massive wooden beams. There is some metal supports here, but most of the bridge appears to me to be these massive wooden beams that are all over the place. It's actually relatively bright in here, interestingly, for a mostly covered bridge, partly because of these wonderful little windows here that we have. There's also a walking area here that you could walk on as well, but I'm walking down the center because I think it's the cooler part. And what's neat is there's actually slats at the floor. You can see light coming through, and below that is the Doe River. And what's really neat is on the edge of the bridge, where people aren't really meant to be, you can actually put the camera down there. So let's show you what the river looks like from under here. It's pretty cool. It's nothing exciting perhaps, but I just think it's kind of neat that there's holes in the bridge that you can reach through and put a camera through and all that stuff. I think it's neat. And now we're reaching the end of the bridge. It's the light at the end of the tunnel, literally. And then we'll be on the other side of the bridge and the river. So we can come over here and take a look. Aha, there's ducks. Look at all of them. It's a very beautiful river. That female duck is unusually friendly, I'd say, for a wild duck. She let me get very close to her with the camera, as the others flew away. But as you can see, this is an absolutely beautiful park down there by the other bridge. That's the main bridge that traffic goes over, and it's the bridge they'll be launching the fireworks off of later on tonight. But as you can see, it's a beautiful park. You've got some people over there hanging out by the water's edge. You've got all the ducks and the beautiful water, and of course the iconic covered bridge. Well, we've been driving around a little bit, checking out historic Elizabethton. Hopefully you all have enjoyed the ride, and we finally found a coveted parking spot here right in front of a really cool restaurant. It's actually right down there, but we're very, very close to it. So I think it's time to get out and have some food.
Alrighty, and for you?
I think I'll go with the Tweetsie Trail Burger.
Okay.
And then for my side, I'll probably go with hand-cut fries. That sounds good. Alright, so the food has arrived, and boy does it look good. Let's check this out. So I got the Tweetsie Trail Burger, as you heard, and it's being held together with this giant knife. Isn't that cool? The fries look amazing. I had a little taste, and they taste just as good as they look, so that's awesome. So this is what I got, and then my dad got this. We'll pull this over. He got a breakfast dealio. This here also looks very, very good. You've got some hash browns and some scrambled eggs and a biscuit, and then I actually forget what that was, but it looks very, very good. So that's that, and this is what I got, and so now I think it's time for us to eat. Got a whole train of them coming through town right now. So, while I don't have a drone, this is the best I can do of an overhead shot here of the Elizabethton car show. As you can see, many people come to it, and there are many really cool classic cars. Some of them original, some of them restored, some of them heavily modified, all of them very, very cool. So we can take a look here at many of these cool cars. There are far too many for me to show you each and every single one, but I will cover as many of them as possible and tell you and show you how cool they are. As I've already stated in this video, it is kind of impossible for me to show you each and every single automobile. I'm trying to with this overhead shot, but as you can see, the cars go on for blocks and blocks. I think it was like 3.5 blocks of Elizabethton were taken up by this amazing car show. So what I'm going to do, instead of trying to show you every single vehicle and doing a poor job of it, I wanted to show you a few of the most interesting vehicles that I personally found. There's going to be a large range of pretty much everything in here, from new vehicles, old vehicles, classic cars, like I've already said, kind of everything. It's a pretty diverse group here. So we're going to take a look at some of the most interesting vehicles that I found to be very cool, and let's get started with that right now.
Somewhere around 65 or 66 caliber.
Look at the the struts on the struts on the windshield of this. I find to be hilarious. I guess they're there to help prop up the windscreen, which is just perfectly straight up in the air. Of all the things here at the show, this is one of the more unusual ones. Actually, I remember I saw this driving by. I think I videoed it earlier today. It's very funny. So it once was a Model T, and now it's become this. Some would consider it a downgrade, some would consider it an upgrade, but regardless, I'd say it's very interesting. So this particular car here has a lift system which allows you to raise and lower the suspension. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. How neat.
Nowhere near original.
Oh yeah? Is it radio system original? I don't think so. This vehicle looks like it's a lot more original than most of the ones we're seeing here today. And you've got vehicles like this, Galaxy 500 XL. And here's this Desperado with this big old turbocharger, supercharger thing sticking out of the hood. Pretty wild. Racing harnesses. There's quite a few of these 50s Chevys. This is probably the 5th or 6th one I've seen, and there's also been a couple of Corvettes. I think this is a different one than the one I looked at earlier. I think there have been a couple of these.
The new mid-engine Corvette's cool and all, but I don't know. I don't think it looks quite as nice as this. Just my personal opinion. It's cool though. I like the design of this. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's really cool. Let's take a look at the inside. They have a little miniature of it. That's cool. Here's a Camaro. This looks delicious. Yum. '30s Ford, right?
Huh?
1930s Ford, right? Or Plymouth. Oh, okay. Well, the Fords looked kind of similar during this era, right?
All the cars look similar in that
Look at all the wood on the inside. Wow. This is, or is that wood? No, maybe it's not.
area. It is, but it's painted.
Oh, okay. At a distance, I thought this was the actual wood grain, and I was like, wow, that's exotic.
That's what they're trying, that was very popular. Look at this. It's got the original engine, which is probably... I'm
The
not
original
sure.
engine, wow.
I'm guessing it's a straight six.
Neat.
Could be a straight eight.
Oh, I love the hood ornament. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
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 Here.
The sailing ship Plymouth.
That tells it all.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Old Red. That's pretty. And then here are some hit or miss engines. They're called hit or miss because they don't always fire. Every time they go pump, means they're firing, and then they just kind of coast along. Engines like this were used in factories to power equipment like pulleys or sometimes even washing machines. And although they have wheels, they're not really meant to move under their own power. Still very neat though. Here's another Corvette. '65. The radio goes sideways. What? Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. I think this right there might win the award for the cutest car at the whole car show. That's adorable. Monte Carlo. Very cool.
Look at a full set of Simpson harnesses.
Hmm.
That's the same kind they'd use in all kinds of racing. shoulder harness.
This Mustang has some shoulder harnesses for racing. Looks like it probably has some modifications as well for racing. Let's look at the engine. Oh boy. Racing. There it is. And then right next to it is a new Mustang. Look at that. GT. And then here's a little older Mustang, a few years older. And then here's a much older Mustang. This is probably the most common car here at the car show. They're still cool though. Red Colt. One of the very few British cars here at the show is this MG. Also known as the Midget because of how tiny it is. And compared to, I mean, okay, it's a truck, but still, you know, you look at this truck and then you look at this, it's tiny. It's a little guy. I heard the train horn off in the distance. Here comes some more classics rolling down the street. Here's your Chevy truck. Ooh, side exhaust. Lovely. Here's a replica of a 1929 Mercedes. Let's come down here and see what's over here. Here's a Ford Fairlane. I love the taillights on this. They're like they kind of remind me of like a jet engine, you know what I mean? There's some Chevys. Comet GT. And of course, I'm showing this side of the street here, but there's plenty more on the other side as well. We've seen lots of we've seen lots of older Corvettes, and here's a couple of newer ones. You can just walk by them and then check out some of the other stuff that's on this side of the road. This is probably my favorite year of new Corvettes. I really like the styling of these. I think they look really cool. Now this here is an interesting one. It's a 1931 Graham Model 4. It was manufactured in Detroit by the Graham brothers, and they stopped production in 1938. So these are probably pretty rare. It has a newer Ford engine in it. It's very beautiful. And here's the inside. And I love the shape of this car. It's just so cool. Very, very cool. Here's a customized thingy. Looks like a Hot Wheels car. Like literally, I think when I was a kid, I think I had a Hot Wheels car that looked just like this. Same colors and everything. Here comes this. Look at that. Super B. That sounds great. Oh boy, we've got music. Copyright claim incoming. I'm just gonna talk over that and pretend it doesn't exist. Good, good, good. All right, look at this. Obviously all custom street rod. That's cool. There's the new mid-engine Corvette. We were just talking about that. That's probably the newest car here at the car show. And then down here we've got even more cars. The lighting is on this setting, so the lighting's not perhaps optimal, but we'll get over here and there's a whole car lot full of cars, and down over here we've got more along the way. Ford Street Rod. We got a motorcycle. Hello. There's a Chevelle.
I take them all the time, man, but I don't get. I've never had that. Not discouraged you, but about 2 or 3 months out of it. He told me I should get 4 good months. Get 4 good months out of it.
Awesome. And this whole parking lot is, at least this side here, is mostly Chevys. Earlier, I think there were a couple of non-Chevys, and there may still be some, but we've got a couple of Chevy trucks here. This is beautiful. This isn't a Chevy, but now this is one of my personal favorite vehicles at the whole car show. It's a Chevy Impala with a big old engine that is in fact original. The interior is just absolutely gorgeous, and so is the exterior. And on this side, we've got a Bel Air. Amazing. Oh, look at this beautiful hood ornament. Wow. This is pretty over here. Look at this. Wow. Corvette engine. And then you've got this. That's amazing. Wow. Look at that. That's cool. Somehow I wasn't really paying attention and I actually walked right past this. This is really cool. Again, it looks like a Hot Wheels car. What's it say on the side? I can't really read it. I love the wood accents on the dash. Now here's another really cool Corvette. Some Corvettes I like, some Corvettes I don't, and this is one that I really, really do like. This, I believe, is from the early 70s. You've got the hideaway or pop-up headlights, which is pretty cool. The color isn't British racing green, but it reminds me of the British racing green you'll see on Morgans and Jaguars and stuff. We can take a look at the inside. Very, very cool. And of course, it's a convertible, which adds to the coolness of I keep calling these instruments the car. It adds to the coolness of the car. And then we can take a look at the back. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. And it has a 454 engine, so it's a massive, massive block engine on a fiberglass body, which means the Corvettes are very light, very fast, and very powerful, so they get up and go. So we decided to take a break from walking the streets of Elizabethton to come into this really cool little ice cream frozen yogurt type of place and get a simple little snack. So this is a small mango Italian ice. We each got one, and then this is an interesting drink that if you're not from Eastern Tennessee, you will probably never have heard of. This is called Dr. Enough. We both got the diet version. Friendly Local told us that it's better than the regular, so I've had the regular before and figured I'd try the diet today. It's basically kind of like a very powerful 7-Up. It tastes very, very good, and it's actually brewed locally here in Eastern Tennessee, and it's not really sold anywhere else in the States. Maybe you can find it in Virginia and the edges of the states bordering the edge of Eastern Tennessee. But other than that, I've never seen it for sale anywhere else in the United States. So if you're from pretty much anywhere else, you've probably never have heard of Dr. Enough. But it's definitely something you should try. They sell it everywhere around here, not just here. But it's definitely something you should try if you're ever in this area. And you should also come by this place. It's called Sweetsy Treats. They used to be called Tweetsy Treats, named after the Tweetsy Trail that for some reason, they were told to change their name. I don't understand why, but they did. So they changed the first letter of their name. Very clever, to Sweetsy Treats. So there you have it. Really cool place. They got frozen yogurt, ice cream. They got some burgers and stuff, and also Italian ice. So that's what we got. It's going to be good. So this 1946 Ford is actually for sale or for trade. This here's the owner here. Hello. And he actually opened up the hood, thank you very much, to let us take a look at the inside of this vehicle. This is a flathead V8, of course, by Ford. It would have been one of the first relatively affordable V8s that would have been out in the market. Here's the Ford logo, and it's a very, very cool vehicle that actually happens to be for sale or for trade. So I'll show you the rest of the vehicle here so you can see exactly what it looks like. It's in very beautiful shape. We can come around and check out the rest of this vehicle. Thank you very much to the owner for letting me take a look at the inside. We can also peek inside the actual dash itself, and we can look at the beautiful chrome dash. This would have been made right after the war. This is 1946. So this would have been, you know, when cars first started having lots and lots of chrome on them. Here's the owner's info if you're interested. And we can take a look at the back, which is probably my favorite part. I love the sloping, like, beetle-shaped back. It's very, very cool. Can come around and check. We've got some old vehicles coming down the road, too. And that's the car. It's very cool.